Hi guys and gals, Dennis Brown here with a little bit of a different review. We're going to review, this is a first look at a brand that I have never owned before until this week, and that's Martin. My main acoustic guitar, and it's a fairly nice acoustic, is a Taylor. And I've owned Yamahas and Alvarez's, and I used to have back when the Washburn Festival Series was kind of a high-end guitar, I used to own one of those, and I used it gigging, but 98% of my gigging has been with electric, not with acoustic. So, there hasn't been a whole lot of reason for me to have an expensive guitar, which until the last 10 years, there was no inexpensive Martin. They had Sigmas, which were, really good guitars for the money. But if it's going to say Martin, it was always, like a D28 or something was always really expensive. This is their special 000 triple aught X1AE. I have to remember, it's you can't give it a name like Bob or something. This is it's a satin finish throughout. They're made in Mexico. This uses their I forget what they call it, their HPL. I've got my cheat sheet over here. HPL, which basically is kind of like OSB inside, and then they layer a veneer of prettier wood, mahogany over it. And the neck on this, I want you to see that. Those are individual layers, okay? It's literally plywood, okay? Now, the last guitar I owned that had this kind of neck was a Teisco back in the mid 70s. So my cousin Anthony, actually, he gave me my first electric guitar. It was a Teisco and a Telstar amp, and very cool cousin. Thank you, Anthony. You have been very influential in my life in ways you don't know. This has pretty good tuners. I like the tuners pretty good. They're smaller. They're not. They're not really super high-end, but they're good. The top is a veneer as well. You can kind of see it from the edge there that they put a veneer over the back of it, which is plywood. All of that's plywood. This is a solid top, a Sitka spruce top. So where it counts on the soundboard, and for acoustics, this is probably 70% of the sound. Man, is the soundboard. They use really good wood, so that's good. A lot of people have kind of dissed Martin for these and stuff, but I like the guitar. The short version of this, if you don't want to watch the whole video, is I like the guitar. It's a really good guitar for the money. They were originally $779. Then they dropped the price now to $600. I got it on the stupid deal of the day on Musician's Friend because I'm a cheapskate, and Martin is not throwing any free stuff my way. So when I have to use my own money, I kind of just wait until something is just too good to pass up. You can kind of see the Martin and Company in there. It is really, really white. Unusual, well, not that unusual, but the grain it doesn't really show it so much in the camera, but it has nice grain, and you can see on the edge there's no binding. I mean, the wood goes just there, so you can kind of tell where they save money. They use all these chips and composites here underneath the veneer, and probably 10% of the weight of the guitar is glue. It's just one of those things. But for what it is, it does what it does very good. The body itself is a little thinner. It's a triple aught, so the body is it's a little smaller than a dreadnought. It has more of it's like a small jumbo in a way, the way that the cutaways and everything run. There's no cutaway here. It's just a straightforward. There is some electronics, and I haven't thrown a battery in. I haven't listened. This video, the first look, is going to focus on just acoustic. Overall, first impressions are, it looks like an inexpensive Martin. I mean, it looks like exactly what it is. The action as it came was pretty good. It was really good. I haven't had to adjust anything. Intonation, even though it's just a straight bar, the intonation seems really good. And when you get up to, it holds close enough for an acoustic. On an acoustic, I'm not up into here anyway, so it doesn't. I stay here down for the most part. But before I pick, I'll say there's a couple of things that really stand out to me. One is the tone is not typical Martin when you think of a D28. I think that's kind of the stereotypical Martin. The tone is good. It's got a really nice even tone. The projection on it is really, really nice, especially when using a pick. And with my finger picking, I don't think that it sounds really any. It doesn't seem to project any louder than a regular guitar. But when you're using a guitar pick, it has a pronounced projection, and so it'll keep up with other, if you're jamming with other guys acoustically and they're playing dreadnoughts and slightly larger guitars, it'll keep up with them. But the tone itself doesn't have that super warm. It's very flat, very even, which is, to me, is a good thing. I think that what's kind of kept me away from Martins over the years is I like brighter. I'm a telly player. I like brighter tones, and they tend to be a little bit darker than what I like. Now, this review, while it is about this specifically, the Martin Special Triple Odd X1AE, really probably applies to all of these $800 and less Martins as far as the quality and stuff. Make no mistake about it. It is not a D28, and it's nowhere near as nice as their higher end type stuff. And there's no way anybody's going to get one of these and say, "Oh, it's as great, it's as good as my uncle's D28." No, it isn't. It's a player though, and if you want a couch player, this is perfect. Most people that buy this are probably not going to be gigging with it. Maybe, some small stuff or whatever, but it's just not that kind of guitar. It's more of a personal guitar. I already feel like I've got a bond to it. I keep it. I had to retune it because I keep it in an open D tuning for messing around with slide and for just playing some off the wall stuff. But you're not going to mistake it for a high end. But kind of like the Yamahas and Alvarez's and all these other guitars that you find in the $500-600 range, they're just good players. And this is one of those. This is a good player. If you wanted just a good player that's, they're skimping in places it doesn't make a difference whether it's a good player or not, then it's worth exploring. So let's hear it a little bit. Straightforward player, there you go. And one of the things that you can't do with this, that I did a review on the Mitchell 12 string, and it was and the D'Angelico 6 string, and both of those guitars are great guitars to just for really hard banging out type rhythms and tones and stuff like that. This gets kind of brash real quick, so it's not a beating up guitar, but for so that is kind of you hit that threshold, and to me it doesn't sound it's just the tone changes in a way that's it sounds okay, but that's not the strength of this. This is more of a. Good straightforward picking guitar, and for those purposes it does a good job. So once again, this is going to be a quick one, well, kind of a quick video. Satin Finish, so you kind of, once again, they get, including on the top, they do kind of cheapen it up where they can get away with it. If you can find these on sale, and I'll just tell you point blank, I paid $369 for this. And they have some other guitars in that price range, but they're not as nice as this. If you can find it on a stupid deal of the day or a blowout, and I think they're discontinuing this particular model, but you'll be happy for that. If you can get it for under $500 on sale, I would definitely, and you want something that fits this mode, not a gigging guitar, maybe every now and then jamming with, gigging, pub gigging and stuff like that. But, cause I worry a little bit about the durability. I think, then again, it's like 10% glue, so it's probably going to outlast my Taylor. But I still worry about that a little bit. The fragility of it and things like that it's not quite up to Martin's D28 and their $2,000 type guitars, but for just a good living room player and jamming with the buddies player and things like that. It's a hard guitar to beat. It is. I do feel that it is a step above your average $500 Alvarez and Yamaha, and I've played a lot of them, and it is a step above that. So get your bang for your buck on and get a Martin. This is my first Martin, and it probably won't be my last, but we'll just see what goes on sale. Until next time, guys and gals, thanks again. This is Dennis Brown. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep them coming.